Well, hello and a big welcome to Third and Long, the Australian podcast series providing you 360-degree access all areas past to the NFL with an Australian twist, Paige. It's quite funny looking across at Paige when you're doing an intro. Third and Long is brought to you by Little Birdie TV, and we're in the studios of TopSport and Little Birdie TV, Marco, and we've done it. We've managed to coordinate. We've got everyone live in the studio.
How about that?
Must say, very impressive studio, isn't it, Paige?
It's not so bad. I mean, it's taken up a notch with my arrival, that's for sure. You've blessed us coming down from Queensland, and well, Marco just lives here anyway, so...
Welcome to the bunker.
We're in the bunker, and a big welcome to you, Marco. Once again, it's getting very boring, a bit like the Patriots, that once again, just another win.
It's not boring, but winning's never boring. But no, they're just tracking nicely. They had a big test last week and got the job done, and they've got... we'll talk about it a bit later, but probably the match of the week is coming up this week, which we'll talk about.
And hasn't someone to my left just jumped off that team with the star on it, and the other one? Now she's got a George Kittle right behind her. Paige is back with front page news. And I believe before we go to another big week in the NFL, you're going to summarise week 12, I believe you have an issue there's something about front page news that we might have given it the lemonade and sauce last week.
I did hear that it had just been benched momentarily, and I thought, well, so it's okay from the cheap seats. So I'm back to take control. I'm coming off the bench. We all know I'm the QB1 of this show, so it was about time I earned my rightful place back, and front page news is back this week.
All right, well, without any further ado, it's been another massive week in football, and Paige, take it away with the live version. We're all in the studio. You're under no pressure whatsoever for a summary of everything that happened in week 12.
I tell you what, we are just every week is getting better and better in the NFL. Hard to believe that we are now into the final third part of the season. And it's about this time of year where we start figuring out who is going to be in the postseason. We're starting to get a good indication of which players are capable of taking their teams through to the postseason, but also the coaches that have really stood out, the teams that have impressed us, the teams that have disappointed us, the rookies that have really stood up. But there's one guy in particular, Corey, and I think it's going to make Marco pretty happy. Bill Belichick and the Patriots. I really liked them when they weren't doing so well, because we've just come to know that the Pats for being this all-conquering and dominative team. And I don't think anybody could have foreseeably pictured the continual rise, but so quickly. The trajectory so far, particularly over the last 6 weeks, that second third of the season has been so instrumental. Do you think now, Corey, I'm going to ask you first before this flog on the end gives us all the love and glory about the Patriots. But I'm telling you, I think Bill Belichick might be in the running for Coach of the Year. What do you think?
I think all it does, it once again cements, and we've actually spoken about it on here. When you've got amazing coaches, and he fits the bill as an amazing coach, and a lot of sports teams, and I wish my beloved Manchester United would take on this philosophy as well.
They absolutely won't. That's another show.
Go and get a great coach. Go and get someone who has a great system. And even as we said with the Melbourne Storm, and what happens, the Patriots do the same thing, the Melbourne Storm did the same thing. You throw average players into a great system, they just know their role, and as the Patriots do, Mark, do your job.
Yeah,
it's a culture though, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we've been, I'm sure you guys have as well, been watching that Tom Brady, the man in the arena, and I know only halfway through the episodes, but the same thing comes through on those shows, isn't it? Even in the young Tom Brady days, and even when they were good going into Super Bowls, the mantra in the story has never changed, has it? Belichick, it's basically been 20 years of exactly the same, do your job and success will come. And I guess, he's turned it around really quickly. It's been unbelievable. So
I think that's the thing we all appreciate about the Patriots is that they are so systems-based. It's not about individual players. Maybe for a time there have been some incredible players to pull on the Patriots jersey, but right now we know in the off-season they had a massive influx of players. They hit free agency, they hit the trade, they bought in, they reshaped, and all of this while they have a rookie QB. It has been incredible.
Yeah. But I also, like, when you're in that position, when you know with Jones and knowing he's got to go into the game, he knows he doesn't have to do stupid things. Like, whereas all these other guys probably feel the pressure and the expectation they're going to carry the team with them. It really is, Marco, a perfect situation. Like, it's a really good position as a player when you can come in and go, you know what, I stay in my lane. As we said, they try and design the players. He stays in the lane. And as long as he does that, I mean, they have success.
Yeah, and you need that type of quarterback as well to do that. And, watching the show with Brady, even though he was young, and the other players around him said they couldn't believe how quickly he came on. And if they're documenting the Mac Jones era, I think the same experience will be coming through. The other players can't believe how well he's fitted in the system and how quickly he's come on just to do his job. And I don't even think he gets that much press. Probably the accolades are not there as well, because that's how the Patriots kind of want it to be, don't they? Stafford all of a sudden goes to the Rams and he's the saviour. And
I think they're happy to keep him off Broadway for a little bit. Certainly, particularly while he's in his first season. He's been incredible. But there have been some other really good coaches this year too. The Ravens have done really well. The Cardinals have done really well. For me, Matt LaFleur's been dealt some massive, not only injuries, but some storylines at Green Bay. They've been really impressive too. Zach Taylor and the Bengals, I think Cincy have been fantastic as well. So quite a little bit to sort of play out between now and the end of the season. But moving on now, it's sort of we're keeping with the Tom Brady theme a little bit, but I think we've come to appreciate this year that the Bucs are at the best when they don't need Tom Brady to win the game. Now, of course, it's great to have the man with the miraculous arm, the incredible play action. He can read opposition defenses, but he's 44. He's playing incredibly well. But on the weekend, we saw Leonard Fournette, 4 rushing touchdowns, the come from behind victory. Sorry, Corey. I know we're not talking about, the Colts and how they shit the bed a little bit in this game, but really, I think that it says so much. And I think when Brady came across to the Bucs, he really liked a couple of things, and that was 1, the offense ran deep. 2, the defense was really well structured and thought out, and 3, the most important part when you have a fantastic marquee QB, you need an equally fantastic O-line, and they've put all the pieces of the jigsaw puzzle together and look like they may be potentially going towards a back-to-back, Corey.
Yeah, but you also couldn't happen but think, Marco, I think when you saw that game unfolding on the weekend and in the end, having Tom Brady on the field, it's nearly like having another coach on the field. Yeah. He doesn't have to do amazing things, but if it warrants it in the game and he has to step up, he could probably do that still. But he just knows how to manage the game, and honestly, it's like having another coaching staff member on the field. Yeah,
I think when you look at the game, and if you watch the highlights again, the difference is if Brady's on the Bucs, they win. If you swap the quarterbacks and the Bucs go to Indy, then Indy get the job done. I think that's just the difference in the end of the game.
And he threw a couple of picks as well, didn't he?
Indy played unbelievable. I don't think they made too many errors, and they took them all away. And at the end of the day, it was the quarterback that got the job done.
But it was, at the end of the day, if you were going to beat one of the best teams in the NFL, you can't make the mistakes that the Colts and Carson Wentz made.
But that's the difference at the end, isn't it?
That's what's separating the two teams at the moment.
Yeah, the Colts are going as well as they can be, and it's just a few games and a few moments in the games that are costing the Colts. What are they, 6-6 now?
Could have won 3 more games.
Correct, and all of a sudden you win even 2 of those, and you're right up the top end, and you're saying, well, can the Colts go all the way?
Talking about going all the way, this might be the complete opposite. The Rams, they started the season on absolute fire, the Matt Stafford effect. They've gone ahead and, a couple of weeks ago they signed Von Miller, then they took up OBJ as a free agent. And since then, things have just gone south, Corey.
It was funny at the time when that happened. It's easy. Let's just see how it goes over the next, till the remainder of the season. But it was really interesting when that happened. Even I thought, do they really need to do this? Did they really, they were already travelling along nice, but the bigger question will be if it doesn't come off, that they've gone and sold the farm, how that then looks in the coming years. And it's very interesting. Like everyone going into, the start of December, this is game time. Like these are the guys, the Von Millers, OBJ, these sorts of guys, Matt Stafford, they got brought in. They've really got to pick up the steam, or else they are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks. I think they run into Jacksonville this week, so you expect them to get the job done. So far, their profile this year is they've beaten the weak, and they've kind of done it quite convincingly. But when they've come up against the better sides, they're just being found wanting, I think. So just on the Rams bringing in the team, I think it's hard to develop chemistry within a season, and I think that runs along many sports. Whereas we were just talking about the Patriots before, they were set to go and they thought they'd build into their year and what they normally do. The Rams are trying to do it a bit more on the run, and they're trying to bring in stars to,
to complement what they've already got.
Yeah, correct.
And just on that, the Patriots, they bring in specific players for a position. They don't bring in stars.
Yeah.
So that there's something in that.
Yeah. I think the jury's still out on the Rams.
Yeah,
potential on their day, they can do anything, but whether at the back end of a season they can string 2, 3, 4 wins to get the Super Bowl done, I think that might be a stretch.
Interesting run home too. So we're going to find out plenty more about the Rams going in. But are the Ravens now the best team in the AFC? They won super ugly on the weekend. Lamar Jackson, 4 interceptions. They did beat the Browns 16-10. It's certainly, they get no points for the style and the way they went about it. But they're currently first in the AFC North, Corey, and they are the number 1 spot in the AFC playoff race. I'm going to ask you this. Do you think where the Ravens sit currently and the way that they are playing, are they aligned right now?
No. They haven't. Like when I've watched them play, they just, it's amazing that they're 8-3.
Isn't it?
And I'm not saying it because it's the Colts, but you think of 3 results going the other way. It's interesting how that sliding doors can happen with teams. It's really interesting with the Ravens, and especially with Lamar Jackson. He's not really playing well at the moment. What did he do? He threw 3 picks in a row.
Yeah, 3 picks in a row.
4 in total for the game.
Yeah, well, actually, I think we asked in the chat, how many or when's the last time a quarterback threw 4 picks and you get away with the victory? It doesn't happen.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
Normally turnovers kill you, but to do 3 in a row just shows more about the opposition as well. They did win ugly. They get away. They've done it a few times this year as well. I think the jury's still out on them as well. I don't think they're certainly no moral to win their division since the Bengals are right on their hammer. And I think with their run home, the Baltimore Ravens, there's got to be a question mark on them for mine.
It's really interesting. I know they're only half a game sort of better right now than the Pats and the Titans, and that AFC race is really, really wide open. We thought that was going to be a little bit tighter when we spoke earlier, when we were looking at the preseason show. We thought, here's our standout teams. Here's a couple of teams that we think might challenge, particularly for that 5th and 6th. We're talking that final spot in the playoff race and wild card and whatnot. And now you've got, the Bills are 7-4. Very uncharacteristic of them. But at the same time, we see Cincinnati, who've really shot up. We've seen that the Titans do really well after a pretty interesting start. The Patriots, now we've touched on them already, have really shot up in the last 6 weeks. It's quite open, I think.
Yeah. Well, the Patriots play the Bills twice in 3 weeks coming up as well, so that'll obviously, I think, go a long way to decide that division as well.
Now, I tell you what, boys, not only am I back on the show, but so are my 49ers. I tell you what, it's a good time to be a 49ers fan. It's been an interesting journey. Honestly, can't say I've enjoyed it too much. There's been a few pull my hair out moments. But George Kittle, this guy behind me, has been killing it. Unfortunately, Deebo Samuel will miss this week with a groin. Worst case 2 weeks, best week 1 week. But, they're a team now, I think. They've won 3 of their last 4. the way that NFC is looking, now they look more likely than not to reach the postseason. And I think they're going to be a team, and obviously my 49ers cap off and bias aside, they're a team capable of making some noise in the postseason.
Bad news for the 49ers here. She wrapped them up big pre-season going in. She jumped off.
But they have, in all seriousness, they have rediscovered the run game. They've got that opportunistic defense that was so vital to where they went in 2019, and they were that close to a Super Bowl back then. And now things are starting to click for them. Obviously, they're going to lose Deebo Samuel, who's been, unbelievable this season, career best year. But they've got guys that are stepping up now. Jimmy Garoppolo's got options. Trey Lance as well. They're using the two in unison. Yeah. How far can the 49ers go?
Well, I still think with how the ratings would go and stuff, I still think they're one of the leading contenders for a wild card. Obviously, their division's going to be a bit tough with
massively tough
with the Cardinals. So they're definitely in the mix. They're on the way up. They're playing good football, as you said. Deebo Samuel is going to hurt them. But they got the destiny in their own, and the way they're playing, I think they'll get enough games to make the postseason for you, Paige.
Corey, as a wild card contender, how much emphasis do you put on making the postseason in your own right versus getting in to a wild card spot and being able to push and go really deep?
I don't think it really matters. I think if you can make it into that postseason, I think the main thing that you want to do is you're finding form at the right time of year. There's some of those teams that, as we mentioned, like Baltimore, if the playoffs were on next week and you were going to play them, you'd be licking your lips. Yeah. But whereas someone like the 49ers that have rediscovered their mojo, it's what Mark and I even spoke about that. Some teams, even though it's boring the way they play, it's a bit, I hate to bring it back to the Colts again, but the Niners are a bit the same as the Colts, that a lot of their game is based on having a good run game.
Yeah.
And if they do that well, maybe boring, but it takes the pressure off quarterbacks like Jimmy G, Carson Wentz, that they don't have to make these crazy plays, and it's a formula for success.
Takes the pressure off.
Yes.
I think you need the balance. There's nothing wrong if you pound the ball, if you do it effectively. I think if you do it ugly, a bit like, I don't know, I call Pittsburgh out at the start of the year. I thought they were a very boring side, and I don't think they've really changed. They're very, in Seattle, I know they're playing bad as well. They're legless as well. I know they don't have a run game, but I like the teams that have got the good balance, and I like the teams that come out early and set the tone by the run game, because then it sets up everything else and it creates that balance. So
the Achilles heel, I think, for the 49ers going forward will be whether or not they can continue to win games if they're giving up early leads, and we know how important that is in the NFL, particularly in the state of play it is. But thank you very much for bringing back front page news this week, lads. I'm on to you, Corey.
Well, thanks, Paige. Another big week in the NFL with front page news. We'll be back with To The House. Well, welcome back, and now it's time for my favourite segment by a very, very long way. Back to The House, brought to you by topsport.com.au. Family owned and operated for 35 years. Bet with a bookie you can trust. Bet with topsport.com.au. And Marco, how did we go last week?
Yeah, it was an interesting week there, Corey. We'll just, before we introduce Top Rope, he's busting to get into the contest here. We'll go through the bookie wrap for week 12. The favourites ran at about 53%, 8 out of 15. The cover, the line, and the total, also 7 out of 15. Home team's not too bad this week with 9 out of 15. The season performance now, the favourites are running at 59%. The line still to the outsiders here at 44%, and the total to the under at 56%. And the home teams are running about 50-50. Just before we bring in Top Rope, we'll have a look at his week 12 performance there. He actually gave out 6 tips for the week 12. You can see there he started behind the 8 ball, losing to Dallas and also the Pittsburgh total. But have a look at the finish there from Mr. Toprope Tedeschi. He crushed the under game in the Philadelphia. They only scored 20. Green Bay was one of his bets of the week. They got home by 8. He took the outsider there, +1. Baltimore scraped home in a close one, got the late field goal from Tucker to win by 6. And another close one, it was a 2-point play that would have put it into OT. As we bring in Toprope, you finish with 4 straight. How was the rest of the punting week, Toprope?
Look, if I could stick to NFL, it'd be fine. It's horse racing that kills me.
I thought you'd given up horse racing. You said after the spring carnival you're going to put yourself in the paddock.
MG, I give up horse racing at least 3 times a week.
Jeez.
Doesn't seem to last too long.
Fickle, these types, aren't they?
Yeah, well, lucky I'm only following Toprope's NFL tips and staying away from his horse tips. So it was definitely a good finish to the week, Toprope. Sent you flowers and chocolates. You said you didn't want the beer, so I kept them. So it was a very good week. Couple of close shaves to finish. The conversion, the 2-point at the end, would have been written up as possibly a bad beat. You controlled the game from the outset, and Seattle come from nowhere and tried to put it into OT. Nervous times at the end.
Possibly a bad beat. The kicker going down off a return 2-point, of a return missed extra point in the first half, and then not being able to kick a chip shot field goal to wrap the game up. It would have been an all-time bad beat, Marco.
If I'd had a satellite reading on your phone, I'm sure it would have gone dead. It would have been put through some part of your house, no doubt. But anyway, they only count them as wins or losses. So you got a W in the column, and we move on to week 13 now. So we'll move straight into the TV games. Last week we had an enormous card of 10 to cover. This week we're back to our normal 8. Okay, let's have a look at the first game for week 13. We see that the Dallas Cowboys, Paige's ex-team now, travel to New Orleans Saints. Toprope, we've got Cowboys solid away favourites here at -5 and a total of 47.5. There's been some good money for the home team here, Saints early. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, you've got to be with the Saints this one. Look, the Cowboys are missing head coach Mike McCarthy, probably not a huge negative, but also missing 5 other coaches due to COVID protocols. We saw New Orleans early in the year have their own issues. They were missing a lot of coaching against Carolina and were well outplayed. I took New Orleans. I thought New Orleans should be close to favourite in this one based on that information alone. So I'll be riding the Saints with the points.
Okay, Paige, there's not much winning form going on between these two teams. Dallas have now lost 2 in a row and the Saints have lost 4 in a row. How do you see this one? Do you agree with Toprope?
See, I just really like the fact that the Cowboys have got Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb coming back in. They are huge ins for Dak Prescott. I know they've hit a bit of a speed bump, the Cowboys, but I just think the wheels have fallen off the Saints. I know we've got coaching issues with COVID protocols and all of that sort of thing, but I actually really like Dallas here. I really do. I'm actually gonna back them to get back to a bit of winning form here. I know I'm not really one to sort of, buck the trend of what Toprope goes for because I trust the men inherently to get things right, but I just like the Cowboys in this matchup.
All right, she's jumped off them after 2 poor losses her second side, but she's jumping back on against the Saints.
We're back on for a week, 1 week only.
All right, we'll see a bit of a split decision there from the 2 judges. We move on to our Monday card now, and the first matchup, we've got to get up at 5 a.m. again. We've got on 7, mate, this will be shown, and it is the defending champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, travel to play Atlanta. As you would expect here, the Bucs, even though they're playing away, very strong favourite here of -10.5 point favourite, and the total is at 50 flat. Toprope, we've all got memories of the 2017 Super Bowl. I know Brady was playing for a different team, but that was one for the ages. These 2 teams going out at Brady and Ryan. How do you see any chance the Falcons here of causing an upset against the Bucs?
Yeah, I'll definitely be taking the points. I think there are some hope of upsetting the Bucs. The Bucs 1-6 against the spread as a road favourite. Have just 1 of 5 or scoring 30 plus. Good angle here. Road dogs off a season with 6 or fewer wins have a very good cover record. Atlanta, the home team has covered 7 of the last 9 in this head-to-head matchup. I'll be with the Falcons getting the big number here. Okay, big number there for Toprope at home. Paige, divisional matchup, I should say. How do you see you going with Toprope? You look like you've got an expression that you can't see the Bucs losing this. How do you see it?
The Bucs crushed them. Absolutely. What was it like, week 2 or week 3 it was? They just crushed them. almost double their points. I think it was back in week 2. But look, divisional matchup, we know anything can happen in these. I just think that the Bucks have been too good, too strong. They run deep. They're just a well-oiled unit. I know the Falcons have got, winning form coming in, but I still associate them with being a bit of a hot mess.
Okay.
I don't rate them. I really don't rate the Falcons at all. I really like what Kyle Pitts has done at tight end for them.
He's one of your favourites.
He's been really, really instrumental. Matt Ryan's finding him a lot. He's become one of their main targets. But offense is starting to work for them. I just think that the defense of the Bucks is going to be able to curtail that.
All right, 2 split decisions early. We'll
Sorry,
see.
Toprope.
I tell you what, Paige's quickest way to go broke is to take on Toprope.
I know.
I hope you got plenty of money here. All right, we'll move along to the third game that we're going to look at the TV games. Another 5 a.m. game. This game will be on ESPN. Good match up here, Toprope. We've got the Chargers travelling to play the Bengals, who are down your team, Baltimore Ravens, throat for the division at the moment, so they're up and about. We've got the home team, the Bengals, line of -3 favourites, and the total at 51 flat. Like this matchup, Toprope. The teams are, I guess, at different form lines, with the Chargers have lost 4 out of 6 and probably just starting to lose their way, maybe considered out of form, while Cincinnati, I think, have really found their groove. They've won 4 out of their last 6 and they've dominated. They've won 4 of them by 19 plus points. So do the Bengals look a bit cheap here, Toprope?
Under the odds for mine, the Bengals. I'll be with the Chargers. I still don't fully trust the Bengals. They have beaten up on bad teams. Yeah. TBC, whether the Chargers are actually a good or a bad team. They've looked pretty ordinary over the last month. But the Chargers, 39-16 against the spread as a road dog. The Bengals have covered just 3 of 11 for wins. So not huge on this, but I'd rather be with the Chargers getting the field goal.
Okay. All right, Paige, you've got 2 young quarterbacks here. You love your rookies and your first and second year quarterbacks.
Really
so
do.
How do you see this matchup? Herbert's starting to lose his way. Burrows is probably starting to find his groove. Which way are you swinging?
This is bad because I'm going to disagree with Toprope again.
God.
Toprope's probably sitting there going, does she listen to anything I ever have to say? I just really think my biggest issue here is we're going to highlight 2 things. Is Chargers, I like them for value. This is really good value game because they could just as well bow up and take this. What Toprope said was spot on. They have beaten up on some pretty average to poor teams, Cincy. But also the Chargers can't even defend light at the moment. Like they're on struggle street. Their defense has been shot to pieces. When you look at the Burrow effect with, Jamar Chase, who's been instrumental in their rise this year, Joe Mixon at running back, they've got options. I really like the offense structure of the Bengals, but God, this is a danger game. I think I'll go with the Bengals, but if I was going to sort of put some money somewhere, I do like the Chargers for value. It's really good value that
each way for Paige, I think here, Toprope in a 2-horse option.
Fence, aren't I? I don't want to disagree with Toprope again, but I don't know. The Bengals winning form is good form.
All right. I like the Bengals here. I thought they should have been a bit stronger favourites myself.
$1.63. It's they'd be almost a little.
I just think at home.
Is the money right there?
I think
you reckon that's good value?
I'm going to take the -3. Yeah,
the -3.
Yeah, I think that's good value, and I think the Chargers. I just think they're in struggle street at the moment, and I'm going to ride the wave of the Bengals at the moment. All right, we will get on to the next match here. The 4th match. This will be also a 5 a.m. game. This is on ESPN2. The line here is Indy. Strong away favourites here, Toprope. The money has been unbelievable for them. They have opened at 7.5, now 9.5 point favourite. Total is at 46 flat. The stats aren't great here for the Texans, Toprope. The 6-6 Colts v the 2-9 Texans. With Indy coming off a pretty good form rating against the Bucks last week, and the Texans unable to beat the Jets. Is this a bit of a mismatch?
I don't think so. I'll be backing the Texans getting a big number at home with a reasonable degree of confidence, actually. Tyrod Taylor's actually a pretty good cover quarterback. Got to be Teddy Bridgewater about those numbers there. They've covered 4 or 5 division games, 4 or 5 as a home dog. Indy have covered just 1 of their last 6 against the AFC South. I think the line's too big here. I think the Colts tend to play to the level of their opposition, one of those sides. So, and it'll be a cold day in hell when you see me laying 9.5 points with Carson Wentz on the road. That's for sure. Yeah,
fair call, Top Rope. Do you see this market, the way it opened and the way it's trending? Do you think for punters moving forward, do you think they should wait and maybe see a 10 appear to take the plus?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they actually jump to 10 because it's 7.5 to 9.5 is not really jumping any key numbers, so that doesn't take much to move that. That's just that's just more optics than anything else. But 10 will be a big number. I do think there is some 10 out there, so it'll be 10. You'll be buying it under the $1.90, but I'd be jumping on that 10 if you can get it.
Okay, Paige. These two teams played week 6. Indy Colts at home won 31-3. Is there a repeat performance on the cards?
God. The Texans are just hot trash on offense, aren't they? What are they? They're the worst ranked team in offense at the moment, aren't they? They're
going bad. 14 points a game they're averaging.
Yeah, it's not great reading if you're a Houston fan. I think the interesting thing, they've got two opposing styles. So the Colts, they're very high octane and they score a lot. The Texans, they're stodgy for me. They like to really dry up games. They're a boring team. It's going to be a shocking game to watch. I don't think this is going to be one for the highlights reel.
Any value in the under 46 then? Because Indy like to run the ball, so maybe they'll just dry up if Texans want to dry up the clock.
I think that's probably where I'd be edging towards. It'd be the under 46 for mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. We've got plus for Top Rope and under for Paige in the total there. We'll move on to our next match. We've got a divisional matchup again here with Baltimore travelling to play Pittsburgh Steelers here. We've got Top Rope's tip at the start of the year, the Ravens, for the Super Bowl. They are favourites at line of -4. They're the away favourites. A lowish total here of 44 flat. A big rivalry here, Top Rope. We've got the 8-3 Ravens against the 5-5 Steelers. Baltimore have now won 2 in a row. Steelers have lost 2 in a row. They're probably heading in different directions. How do you see this one?
I'm going to go with the under in this one, at a reasonable level of confidence here, under 44.5. The under is huge in divisional matchups, week 11 to 17, covers at 61%. We've got plenty of those this week. This is right up there with one of the better ones. 9-3 under off a win, Baltimore. 5-1 the under when they're road favourites. 7-3 under when Pittsburgh are home dog. I will be backing the under in this one, probably leaning a touch to the plus, but I wouldn't be getting too involved at the line. Yep.
All right. Top Rope's pinched my lead in for you, Paige, on this game. I should have read his mind. He's tipped the under up pretty strongly. My intro to you is going to be the points. We're going to be a premium at this game. Pittsburgh love dragging teams down to the mud, so to speak, and trying to keep it close. Will suit Baltimore. They've played 6 matches this year with very close results either time. So do you see this being close, and which way would you be picking?
I think in a pure head-to-head market, I'm with Baltimore. And the reason I say that is because they're still the number 1 seed in the AFC for a reason. They've kind of weathered the storm, I feel like, for the last couple of weeks. I agree wholeheartedly this week with Top Rope. I would be all over that under. I think the Steelers, they just love to dry up games. They love stops. They love to force, and also they slow the game down too. They commit penalties to take momentum out of the game. It's been their go-to all year. Yep. And we've seen that constantly. I just think that that's going to really frustrate the Ravens a bit, and that's going to dry up the scoring a lot. So all over the under 44 total.
All right, there we go to both on the under. So 44 is the number there that you can bet the under. Okay, we've got match 6. This is our mid-range games at 8:25 slot. It's on 7 mate. Paige is going to look forward to talking about this one. Actually, Top Rope is as well. I keep forgetting Top Rope's a 49ers fan. That's poor by me. The 49ers are travelling to Seattle. The 49ers are favourite at -3.5, and the total is at 45.5. Again, a divisional matchup, Top Rope. The 49ers we spoke about earlier in Paige's news. They've found their groove. They've won 3 in a row. They look airborne. We touched on Seattle last week's show that they look shot, disinterested. Wilson coming back, not being the same player. They've lost 3 straight now. Top Rope, are we going to keep rolling with the 49ers this week?
Look, I can't be on the 49ers as a favourite. They've covered us for their last 14. They're just no bet in that situation. By contrast, I've got zero interest in being on Seattle, which is running the most basic, inane, dated offense. And they just cannot move the ball. Their third down conversion percentage is absolutely horrific. So no, put me on that one. Probably, if you're going to have a bet in this one, the unders, the old divisional unders late in the season angle. As a player there in Seattle, just a massive unders team, 20-7 under off a loss, 19-7 under in their last 26. So lean towards the under, not a lot of confidence.
Okay, slot there for the under for Top Rope in this game, Paige. Let's keep this short in your assessment. We've talked enough about the 49ers so far. Just a tip from you. 49ers have been very good on the road, 4-1 this year. Seattle have been horrendous at home, which is normally their strength. They're 1-4. Any chance Seattle can upset your team?
Yeah, the fact this is on the road gives me more confidence. Particularly, look, the points that will dry up, and that's purely because Deebo Samuel's going to be missing. In saying that as well, the run game's quite strong, and we know that the Seahawks are pretty awful when it comes to defending the run game. So in a pure head-to-head, I'd take the 49ers on this one to continue their good form, but I really like the under here.
Okay. All right, under there for both Top Rope and Paige in that game. And we move on to our 12:20 slot here on the Monday. This will be shown on ESPN. Looking forward to this game. We have the Denver Broncos traveling to take Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs are the favourite at the moment. A pretty big line for mine at -10 and the total of 47.5. Another divisional matchup here. We've got a lot of divisional matchups to finish off this week. Close head-to-heads, Top Rope, 6-5 Broncos against the 7-4 Chiefs. Good form for both. Denver have won 3 or 4, and Chiefs have now won 4 in a row coming off the bye. How do you see this game shaking out?
Yeah, fascinating game. For starters, I'm not sure Kansas City should be double-digit favourites in this one. I'll do have a lean towards Denver. Not a lot of numbers to back that up, but the Chiefs do look to be a bit of an overrated proposition, and I think this has been pumped up a little by the well-spoken Andy Reid of a bye record. There is a very strong bet in this game, and that bet is the unders. We've mentioned divisional unders late in the season. Denver are a massive unders team, 22-6 under off a win, 15-5 under in their division, 5-1 under on the road. Kansas City 5-1 under in their last 6, 5-1 under as a favourite, 12-3 under off a bye. 5 of the last 6 head-to-heads between these two have gone under the total. I made this total 44.5. We've got 47.5. It's a very good bet. Staying into the other.
Like a Top Rope. Figures match up here. I also were around your mark as well. So that's good news that the unders are very strong play in this game for mine. Paige, very strong defenses. Denver have been a strong defense all year. They're around the 3rd-ranked defense. And the Chiefs started off very ordinary in the first month. They couldn't stop anyone. Now their defense is 9th ranked. So from a D points point of view, divisional matchup, do you agree with the under, and do you have a side at the line?
Yeah, I like the under here. Echoing what Top Rope said, both teams are coming in on some pretty strong form. Denver, incredible last week. I thought they've really I think the pennies dropped for them, particularly on offense. I know they've been opportunistic in D, but also in offense, they've made some plays work. So Teddy Bridgewater, the only issue there will be whether or not he gets up. We know there's a concern there coming into this matchup. Really strong on the under here as well. 47.5 is very generous. Yep. Very generous. KC though in a head-to-head at the line though.
10's a big number.
10's it's probably too big for me.
All right. Sounds like the under is one of the plays of the week here. We can't get any opposition for the overs, so hopefully come Monday lunchtime, we'll have a few winners behind us and we'll be able to chips all in job. Gamble responsibly, of course. Okay, we move on to gamble responsibly.
Just add that in there.
We move on to the last match, which is our Tuesday game at 12:15. This will be shown on ESPN. Unfortunately, I've got to wait all the way to this one. I've got a good mate that barracks for the Bills, so he's had this on the calendar since the schedule came out. And lucky for us, we challenge each other twice in the next 3 weeks. We have got the New England Patriots travel to Buffalo to take on the Bills. And the Bills here at the moment, just favourite at 2.5. They opened 3, so slight edge in the early betting to the Patriots. A low total of 43.5. Top rope, another divisional matchup here. This is our 5th one in a row, I believe, for the TV games. This is definitely match of the week in my opinion, not just because my team's playing in there. We've got the 8-4 Patriots against the 7-4 Bills. We don't need to say that the Patriots have won 6 in a row. This is their biggest test to date, for sure, going into Buffalo. Top rope, how do you see this game shaking out?
Yeah, they've got a nice rhythm going, the Pats, and Buffalo have been kind of pretty hot and cold with how they played. They were strong against the Saints last week, but very, very patchy. I'd rather be with New England here. I do like Mac Jones's temperament. The Pats have covered 13 of 19 as a dog, 23 of 31 if a win of 14 plus. Look, it's hard to knock Buffalo too much, but I'd just rather beat the points. Not a lot of confidence in this one, but I lean towards New England. Perhaps a little on that is the being on New England preseason to win the division. So this will obviously play a huge role in getting that bet home. Yep.
Okay, Paige, how do you see this one shaking out? Any faith in the Patriots? I don't want you jumping on the Patriots.
No, I wouldn't do that. I'd get shot.
This is a big game for Buffalo, obviously at home, when you know that they've got to go in to play the Patriots in another 2 weeks after this game. So there's more pressure probably on Buffalo to get this win for the division. If they lose this one, they may not be able to catch the Patriots.
Fascinating matchup. Particularly given the trajectory that these two teams are on. New England have been just outstanding. We've mentioned all show how well they've been through that middle third of the season. Now is when this is the acid test for them now. This is really, we get an opportunity now to see exactly where Bill Belichick and the Patriots are. If they can go in to Buffalo in what is going to be a hostile environment against a very dynamic Josh Allen, who can not only, he can pass the ball, we know he can run the ball too. Mm-hmm. So they've got to be able to counter for both options there. So I actually really think that New England will beat them.
Okay.
I think they're going to come in here and make such a massive statement. I think it's going to turn the season on its head.
Yeah.
I really think this is prime Belichick moment.
Yeah.
That is just going to be another chapter to his incredible story. Going into Buffalo, this is going to be huge. If Mac Jones can steer them to a victory here and then win on the return leg in a couple of weeks' time back at home, massive. And it's going to have huge implications. But number 1 seeds riding on this too. They win and Baltimore lose. They got a number 1.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. I don't know. I think New England are going to be able to deal with that pressure and momentum. They've got nothing to lose, really. Yep. They get the return leg in a few weeks' time. They have nothing to lose, and that's the best way to go into it. Buffalo, pressure. Yep. Pressure everywhere, and we know how much they've been hyped coming into this season. They're getting a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
Form says so.
Yep.
Patriots have just been really nice, chugging along. I just think that winning form's good form. You back that.
Yeah, saying that in the NFL, it's hard to keep winning.
Oh, absolutely.
This is a long streak. 1-6 in a row. Going into Buffalo, it's not all or nothing for Buffalo, but in a sense,
they're not going to be disgraced, and there's no shame in losing to Buffalo in Buffalo.
True.
And that's the thing too. So there's a couple of different narratives here we're going with, but I just think that the way that New England are going, they're not the star-studded team that they were 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. Everyone's playing a role. Everyone knows their role. They're in a systems-based routine. Buffalo have just kind of been up and down, up and down. I just think there's a bit more continuity in what the Patriots are serving up, snap to snap, than what we're seeing at Buffalo.
Okay, thanks there, Paige. Paige is keen on the Patriots to win outright. Myself, Top Rope's not sure in this game. He's probably going to stay out. You'll see how many winners he backs until the Monday night. I'm sure he'll have a wager coming in. He never sits out too often. Myself, I like the over in the game, 43.5. I think it's a little shy, and I think the Patriots might put up a fair chunk of that myself, so I like the over. Okay, that is it for the eight matches. We've covered plenty. We've got some great games to look forward to. For all your betting information, please get to littlebirdie.com. Please look up the Little Birdie shop. Get all the to-the-house information for Toprope. He has extensive information there, a lot of tips. He's on the back of 4 straight, so he's got his tail up at the moment. He's looking forward to week 13. We'll quickly just bring in Toprope now as we just want to discuss the updated Super Bowl prices. We've touched on this earlier in the segment of how crucial this week seems to be. It's still very open. Toprope, as you can see, finally a contender holds the favouritism week to week here. The Bucs were favourites last week. Continue to be favourites at $6. The Chiefs now at $7.50. The Packers after a good win at $8.50. The Cards at $9 with Buffalo Bills. Your Ravens here, Toprope at $11. They're going along nicely. The Patriots keep coming in, $11. They've made it to the front page here. And the Cowboys bring up the rest at $13. Toprope, as I throw to you this week, how do you summarise the Super Bowl? And if you're having one pick, who would you pick?
I think the Packers have the clearest path through to the Super Bowl. At $8.50, I kind of really like the way to just overcome every bit of trouble that's kind of been put in front of them. So, I'll be on the Packers.
Like it. Paige, any thoughts? Have you having one pick this week?
Oh, the Bucs.
The
I
Bucs?
just really like what the Bucs are doing. They keep on keeping on. They're a very, very good outfit.
Okay, very good. All right. Paige going for the Bucs. That threw me a bit there. I thought you might have had a few other choices. As we mentioned last week, I'll just tap on Toprope did tip his 49ers and your 49ers at $41 last week. A couple of dollars invested. Obviously, with the big win, they've got Seattle this week, so they're moving in the right direction as well. So a bit of a smoky. Still the 49ers if you followed last week's show. Okay, we are going to move into what's important is everybody loves a bet, so we're going to discuss our bets of the week. So, Paige.
Well, every week our panel of 4 will be granted $100 to invest, which is sponsored by topsport.com.au, and TopSport is Australia's biggest betting bookie. Bet where the pros get set. Now, all profits are donated to Corey's platform, Walk With Me Online, which does some phenomenal, amazing work in the mental health space. If you haven't checked it out, please do, walkwithmeonline.com.au. It is great work that the big man does. And each week, we get $100 each, don't we, Marco?
Yeah, before we get to those 4 selections this week, we'll just wrap up week 12 on the screen. We went 2-2. The big man finally found a winner after losing a couple in a row. He scraped home with Baltimore, late kick as the kicker. And Paige, your Green Bay Packers got the job done. So you can see the total for the year. We are at $2,185 at the moment. So we're tracking pretty much where we thought. We were aiming somewhere between the $3,500 to $4,000 mark. So we are 2/3 of the way through the season. So we will monitor that as we go. This week's tips, Paige, what is your best for the week?
Look, I like... I'm going to take the 49ers. This week, I'm just going to roll with a good thing.
All right.
Seattle are shot. They can smell blood in the water, the 49ers, and I think this is about to kickstart the season for them again, make a serious play for the playoffs. So,
all right, -3.5
yeah,
there.
I'll take them there.
-3.5 there for Paige for the 49ers. Toprope, what have you got as your number one pick for the week?
Under 47.5, Denver, Kansas City, Sunday Night Football.
Okay, very to the point there for Toprope. He's very confident on that game. Wait for Sunday Night Football. Corey is tipping his Colts this week at the -9.5. I think he's going against Toprope, who was keen on the plus. So they've gone head-to-head a couple of times this year. I'm not sure what the head-to-head count is. We'll have to go back and get it. But
there'll be a bit of head wobble if he beats Toprope.
The banter's always interesting on the chat, so I like him going back and forth. Myself, I'm actually waiting for the last game. I like the Pats and the Bills over the 43.5 in the total.
Shootout.
I think there'll be some points. I think 43.5's a couple short there, and that is my best for the week.
Well, we have a couple of tickets to give away to our Super Bowl party at the end of the season. Big shout out to BG43 last week, who got the exact margin and the winner, of course. Now, he's going to get a couple of tickets to come and party with us on Super Bowl day, which is super exciting. And a little bit of trivia for you guys too. It is the second week in a row that the margin has been 25. So for the punters out there, we may be on a three-peat here. So keep that in mind. But hit us up on Twitter because we have put out today who will win out of the Cowboys and the Saints this week. So the Cowboys hit the road. They travel to the Superdome to take on New Orleans. And I think they may be in a bit of trouble, the Saints. So put your tip in. Tell us who's going to win. Give us the margin. And the first and closest to the margin, or if you're correct and bang on the money, is going to win a ticket for themselves and a mate to come and hang out with us, have a couple of frothies on Super Bowl day. And, of course, watch the football. We can't wait. So get in touch with us on Twitter at Third and Long TV. Pop your tip in. We'll be back next week to announce the winner.
Thanks, Paige. Well, that's a wrap for another show. Thanks to the Third and Long crew. Thanks to being live in the studio. What a pleasure to be in here with the guys. You can follow us on YouTube. Find us at the Apple Store, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow at Little Birdie TV or Third and Long TV on Twitter and Instagram. And remember, for all your NFL action can be found at topsport.com.au. And remember, invest wisely, punters, and enjoy Week 13.